please welcome Anthony Rivest to the podcast.
And this episode is brought to you by RadioGuestList.com, the #1 free radio guest, podcast, and talk show guest expert interview booking service on the internet. This episode is brought to you by PodcastGuest.com, connecting podcasters with great guests. Podcasters. Find relevant experts and other podcasters to be guests on your podcast. Experts, guests, and more. Get booked on great podcasts to expand your reach and audience. PodcastGuest.com connects podcasters with experts, authors, and other podcasters to be guests on their podcasts.
Disclaimer. All information provided by Alex Muir is of general nature and is spoken from Alex Muir's and his guests' personal experiences and personal opinions on the topics related to fitness, health, and education only. No information is to be taken as medical or other health advice pertaining to any specific health or medical condition. You agree that use of this information is at your own risk and hold Alex Muir harmless from any and all losses, liabilities, injuries, or damages resulting from any and all claims. And we're live. Welcome to the MindCep Podcast. This is your host, Alex Muir, helping you flex your mind, body, and soul. And today's episode 71, Anthony Rivest. Anthony Rivest is a personal transformation expert and a digital marketing agency owner. And please welcome Anthony Rivest to the podcast. Anthony, happy to have you on the MindCep Podcast today. I know last week we spoke briefly and we were preparing with some potential questions for the interview. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. It's an honor to be here, and I'm always happy to share my wisdom. And of course, like I might be 31 years old, but people often say I have an old soul. I have been through a lot of stuff in my life, so it allows me to give some, I hope, good wisdom for people listening to us, whether it's body, mind, and soul, a combination of everything. So let's jump into it, my friend. I'm ready.
Awesome. Right on. So I know you got a call right after this, so we'll keep our podcast clear and concise for our listeners and also for your time. I really value your time.
No problem.
So first question I wanted to ask you was, how can people become the architect of their inner world and not a prisoner of their inner world? Because I know a lot of us start off as maybe not knowing how to manage those inner. Our inner narratives, our inner feelings. So what are some strategies that you've learned over the course of, last few years or maybe even recently that have helped you be the orchestrator or the architect of your inner world?
Well, the first thing I want to mention is the inner critics that you have. Like everybody, sometimes we have some negative thoughts, and that's super normal. And I hope people don't think, oh, I should always be positive. And it's not possible. Like we're human beings, but there's always a reason. Like if you feel these negative emotions or you hear these voices in your head, oh, I'm not good enough, or I suck, I should be better. It's really just you comparing yourself to somebody else instead of seeing what are you good at already. And I'm not saying like you should be lazy and just be okay with where you're at, because we're always growing, and I'm sure people listening to this podcast will want to become better. Just don't be a prisoner of these thoughts, because they're there to teach you something. And you can become just more authentic by every time you hear these kind of thoughts in your mind, you can just take a break, stop. Okay, why do I think like I'm a loser right now? For example, who am I comparing myself with? Am I comparing myself to this young millionaires in crypto, or to this super athlete or whatever? But maybe for you right now, your priority is building a family. Like for me, I'm married for already like 4 years, and I have a
Oh,
daughter.
wow.
Yeah, so
Congratulations.
thank you, my friend. So my relationship was always important for me, and because of that, I can say like I was maybe not as focused on business like the first year or two of my relationship, because my wife is from Georgia, so I moved from Canada to Georgia back in 2018, and it was just out of potential partnership, potential love, and it was very risky. but I was ready to put the effort and the new like adventure like on the line. It was very difficult to do so, but guess what? It was my main focus at that time. So I could not compare myself to a guy who just focused on business and making money back in 2018, which is now I have my family, so I can focus more on my business. But you have to stay true to yourself. And everybody
Yeah.
has a different set of values. And like one of my mentors is Dr. John DeMartini, and he's speaking a lot about this, the importance of your hierarchy of values. Everybody lives from what is most important to least important. And when you act on what is low on your values, low on your priorities, you will hear yourself speak about, oh, I should do this, I have to finish this today. Uh like things will be heavier and more difficult. Of course you will have challenges in life. We always have challenges, but you have the choice challenges you want to face and which one are just distractions and low priorities. Make sense?
No, yeah, I
Yeah.
really like that.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, yeah. I really like how you talked about we have the choice of the challenges that we choose to tackle on.
Yeah. So architect for me, like the word, and I know you maybe you read this on my LinkedIn, which is not my most active profile right now. Like it's there, but I'm not really using it. But the word
Yeah.
architect for me, like it's a powerful word because to create your own reality, and no matter like people if they're religious or not, like the I really believe that there's a bigger power, whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, or whatever religion you believe in. That's super fine with me. Just you have the power to create your reality, and as you put the effort and you put the time in and the priority actions, the universe will also like fool you half. It will meet you halfway as you keep being consistent and have a good work ethic and you never stop. Well, I mean, you can rest, but you like never quit attitude. If it's really your goals and it's not somebody else's goals for you, then you will eventually get what you want. It might sound cliche, but I think people who have never tried to go really after what they want in life, where comes my kind of coaching, where I help people to go from employee to entrepreneur. I help them be clear on their unique path on what they want to achieve. Well, to find that, you have to give yourself the permission to go for it, and that maybe it's the scariest thing at first to just say, okay, look, I'm an engineer, but I want to become, I want to start this business in, I don't know, I want a bakery, for example. All right, that's quite a change, but what are the steps I can take to get there? It doesn't have to be black or white overnight. It can take some time, bro. There's nothing wrong with that. I was more the extreme type. So like I will not I could go into more details if we had more time, but I'm an ex-addict. I recovered from my addiction, but my addictive personality gave me this incredible drive to go after my dreams and my goals. Like instead of being self-destructive, I turned that into a positive, into an asset for me. And I always go towards my goal like so hard and so intense, which
Yeah.
can be sometimes damaging, damaging things around me in some way,
Yeah.
like a bull in a Chinese shop, right? But it's fine. This is just how I am, and I love to just go all in. So, why I was saying that? Uh, what was the first question? Sorry, I forgot.
Oh yeah, no, like so like the first question, like it all stems back to us talking about like how people can become the architect of their inner world.
Exactly, architect.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
and yeah, and you've really nailed it. Like everyone has the opportunity to show up, you know, right? It's never going to be easy,
Yep.
but like you said, you've utilized mentors, you've listened to other people's podcasts that resonate with you, and
Absolutely.
that's helped you solidify your drive, your mindset. And but I like how you talked about your wife, seeking out your wife,
Hmm.
right? When you're doing your language learning business,
Right.
doing,
Hmm.
and then you guys met online, and
Yeah.
that was a big focus for you.
It
Your
was a
main
big.
focus,
Yeah.
your main focus at the time, like you said, right? Your main priority was finding your true love, and
Hmm.
that was your first priority was companionship. That was also mine, actually.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, I'm more I'm more into growing my brand and my business now.
Yeah.
But before I was trying to do both and I'm like I had to pick, right?
It's very
You
difficult to
we
do both. Yeah.
it is. You can't do both at the same time. If your main thought in your mind is like, okay, I really want to meet the woman of my dreams, then that's got to be at the forefront, right? If that's where your mind is wanting you to go,
Exactly.
then you got to go with that because like you said, that's where your values are aligned at that specific time. And then that changes over time. Once you've met the woman of your dreams, or you built the business of your dreams, then your mindset shifts to whatever is next, or something else that becomes more of a priority, right?
100%,
Yeah,
100%. You cannot, like, even if you make yourself believe like you want something else, the truth is your reality will always show what is most important for you. And anybody listening to this show right now can make a clear assessment of their own life, and they look like, where are you the most organized, where are you the most disciplined? And these things, they don't have to be what everybody is telling you it should be. Like, okay, it's good to be wealthy and to be in shape in our modern society. Most people will agree with that. But if somebody values more, I don't know, going to McDonald's with their friends and family every 2, 3 days, they might be overweight. It's a possibility, but maybe they value so much the time spent with the people there that they will just go, and it will be more important going to the gym or being on a diet. Make sense?
yeah,
So we
yeah,
shouldn't judge
absolutely.
that. I'm not saying like you have to be like, of course, being overweight is not good for you. I'm not saying like eat whatever junk you want. I'm saying just if you're realistic and you have your starting point and you look at your life in the different spheres of life, like your social aspect, your business, your relationship, your family, your physique, like whatever. You just have to say, okay, here I am with the shape I have, with the bank account I have, with the partner I have. Am I satisfied with that, or I want more? And that's, you can just be straight up honest with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, that's not enough. I want more. And now from that point, you need to have a plan. And often people have these big goals or dreams or visions, but they lack the action steps because they become overwhelmed by just seeing the bigger picture. And
Yeah,
it's important
yeah,
to have, I think, both, like daily action steps, which is something
yeah,
I became very good at over time, with me and with my clients, to break down bigger goals into baby steps so that
yeah,
every day you can stay accountable. And instead of seeking, because look, quick dopamine is like really something everywhere nowadays, with social media, with everything around us, with sugar. And it's hard to, like, everybody's like hooked on dopamine nowadays, right? even
yeah,
even me, I'm on my phone like many hours a day, but it's for business, but
yeah,
still. So if you can delay gratification and you have, let's say, okay, in 12 months I want to have lost 100 pounds, while you still have this fat body right now, you might not see the end goal. But if you know that every day you just need to eat 500 less calories to get there, or whatever, or you have to do 20 minutes of cardio, or uh, a boxing session with a friend or with a coach, well, then you can make a check mark or cross that line on your to-do list every day. And just the action of crossing that off your list, it gives you this dopamine of something
yeah,
positive, something non-addictive, because you just generally acted on something important for you. And this over time creates momentum, and this momentum gets you where you want to be.
yeah. And I love how you talk about baby steps, because I relate to your personality where I go all in, and
Hmm.
I've always been of the mindset previously or prior to now, like, oh, I got to give 110%, or I give zero. I got to give 1,000% to something, or I don't give anything at all. And
Yeah,
that mindset it can work, but it's very destructive too, right? Because then it's like
absolutely.
you're all in or you're all out. But now, from reading these different books, like a really good classic example of that book, a couple books, was Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've read that one, and then Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yeah.
Those two help reframe my mindset around breaking down your large vision, your large project, your large goal into like baby steps.
Yeah.
And the way James Clear describes it is you're doing your daily philosophy, whatever that is, right? Your exercise routine, your meditation, your reading. And he's like, okay, if you're just starting from ground zero, start with one or two pages a day. If you're
Hmm.
starting a reading habit,
Yeah.
okay. If you're starting an exercise habit and you've never done one before, starting from zero, start with 2 to 5 push-ups a day,
Uh-huh.
or 2 to 5 squats a day, right? So small that you don't even think about it, but when you add up all of those reps, right? And you're reading and you're training and whatever else you're doing, let's say you want to listen to a podcast, start the personal development journey from an audio experience.
Yeah.
If you're starting from that small of a level, you're going to look back like in a year from now and be like, holy smokes, my consistency was insane.
Oh
But
yeah.
I did it on a daily basis for a year, at such a small scale, but it turned into something so large, and I'm now way ahead mentally, and I've reframed my mindset in my brain. So that all goes back to us talking about being the architect of your mind, creating a life
Mhm.
of impact. It starts a grand vision starts very small. It can start very small.
Yeah, bro, it's so true, and I don't think like people might have this desire. Okay, I want this big thing, but they just lose touch with the daily things that they can feel and achieve, and it's just something beautiful once you start to appreciate. And maybe we can speak about this for like a few minutes.
Yeah,
I'm a big believer in the gratitude attitude or attitude of
yeah,
gratitude. I'm
yeah.
a big believer, like I appreciate things in my life, and of course I have challenges like everybody else. But even in the hard times, in the challenges, I really make a conscious effort. If I sit like for 5 or 10 minutes and something bad just happened, it's a perception that, oh, this is bad for my business, or he didn't pay me on time, my wife is angry at me, or whatever. Okay, take a break, take a time out, take a deep breath, or more than one. Actually, I really recommend breathing is very powerful,
Breath work. Yeah,
and reconnect with who you are, and just like your either your inner voice or your soul, your intuition, whatever you want to call it. And okay, how is that helping me grow? How is that helping me move forward? Even if, for example, my business partner, he's leaving the company, or he somebody betrayed me. All right, maybe it was meant for you to just start to go on a different route, and maybe they were holding you back. And look, they betrayed you. Maybe they would do even something worse in the future. So thank God it happened at a smaller scale, and then you can just cut that out. That's just an example. But everything has two sides, and never get too stuck on, oh, that's amazing, fantastic. I have $1 million in my bank account. Right. Okay. So you have 1 million. But then what are the possible negative side of 1 million, or having only a 1 million into this economy, when we know like if you start to spend and inflation and anything, like you're not a millionaire anymore if you don't have a cash flow, right?
yep.
So always see things both sides, and it keeps you more in the present, it keeps you more stoic, and less emotionally volatile for everything coming your way. You can be more, as I said, architect, the creator, the one who will build his or her reality, instead of just always be reactive like an animal in the jungle.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like our prehistoric roots
Yeah.
as human beings, right? Like always, you know, like running for food or fleeing, fleeing danger, right? And
Yeah, exactly.
that's still inherent in every human being, but
Absolutely.
it's learning how to like shut that off. Like it's there, but
The
like
amygdala, yeah.
exactly minimize it by, like you said, doing like taking that time each day to do that daily meditation or gratitude attitude, journaling or whatever that is to help you recenter yourself when things are getting tough.
Yeah.
And it's very effective with just calming the mind, right? And
And I want to add
yeah,
something about this just for a second, because I also want people to understand it, like journaling, meditation, all that is good, but also remember that you have only like 24 hours in a day, and if you sleep
yeah.
6 to 8 hours, then like you might have a morning routine, you might have a health routine, but personally, I think decide like one or two things that are very important for you, and stick with that for a while, because I know some people like they will do all the things to optimize their health, but the whole routine takes like 2 hours and a half or 3 hours, and then it's already
Oh,
midday and they did no work. That's
yeah,
not good
yeah,
either. Like if you're
yeah.
broke
Yeah,
and you're going to the sauna, you're doing all the stretching. I was speaking about this with one of my mentor, Hassan. He made a voice note actually about this, and it's so true. You cannot just, oh, I'm gonna meditate, then journal 30 minutes, then stretch for 30 minutes, then go to the, well, gym is different. It's that's maybe like you need gym. I really believe so, as a man especially.
yeah,
But all
yeah.
the other things like ancillaries on the side, bro, pick one or two, and then just move move with speed, and go and take action, and go on your
Yeah.
business, and speak with clients, and reach out to customers, and do sales calls. Like don't just sit on your butt and do affirmations for 3 hours, and like, it will not help you. It will just
No,
like there's a
no.
point of diminishing return 100%.
Yeah. There's that's another thing too. Like I started off by doing like a lot. Like I felt I had to do a lot of those daily habits within, like crunch them all together within an hour. And
Right.
now, right, like I got my dog, like me and my fiance are developing our family. We're gonna be getting
Hmm.
married in November. It's like I'm in a different time, right?
Yeah.
And I don't I don't have that time, like to like unless I want to like cut because something has to be cut back, right? I have to cut back the sleep, or I have to cut back something, right? Something has
Yeah,
to be sacrificed in order to fit everything in, but you can't fit everything in. You have to pick, like you said, just those one or two things, and that'll help you to keep moving the needle and keep building that snowball effect for
yeah,
what it is that you're focusing on. So,
exactly.
but yeah, but I think that's to give us a little buffer between now
No,
and
we
your
have time,
call.
bro. We
Would you got
like we
time?
can. Yeah,
Five
yeah.
minutes?
It's just
Okay.
it's a family call. It's not like the end of the world. It's just
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
because I have to book. It's funny enough. I have to book actually speaking with my parents because otherwise I have so many business calls and the baby has to sleep. So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
it's a family
It's all
logistic.
gotta
But
be
don't worry. Like
scheduled.
my parents,
Yeah.
like if we finish in 10 minutes, we're fine and nothing will happen.
Oh, okay, okay. Good, good, good. Right on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And I know we probably already touched on it a bit, Anthony, but let's go back to where you're living now, how all that came to be. You went from Montreal, Canada to
Quebec City. Yeah,
sorry,
close to
Quebec
Montreal.
City,
Uh huh.
right? And
Yeah.
I want I want I want to make sure I remember correctly. Did you start your language learning in Quebec City when you were still there, or did you start it when you were you met your wife? Yeah. How did all
Yeah.
that come to be?
Uh-huh. Good question. So I was, yeah, so my language learning journey and teaching, it became like it was December 2017, so I was still in Quebec. At first I had a desire to learn Russian out of curiosity. I just think the language was beautiful and I was curious about it. So I discovered a website called italki and I became a teacher on that platform. I was teaching English and French, and in exchange, well, okay, first of all, some people can pay you if you're just teaching, but you had also the possibility to be a language partner where you trade your time for somebody else's time. So
Right.
my wife was teaching me Russian and then Georgian, and I was teaching her English. So that's how we met. Actually, we just met through a common interest at first, and I never heard about Georgia before. I thought it was just a state in USA, and like most people in North America will say, "Oh, Georgia, yeah, on the East Coast, right?" But it's not. It's not. It's a beautiful country here. It's a very small country, but there's a lot of soul. Of this is such a big history and the culture, the food, the beautiful landscapes. People are nice. So I really recommend this country. But when I moved here, it was such on a just bro a full intuition. Like I received a vision. I will not like this is kind of woo woo. It's a very airy fairy. So I'm just gonna go through it. It's true. So I was in my bed in Quebec and I had a vision that I was in a church with this girl and I'm gonna marry her in a few years. But it was like a vivid vision, and I woke up and
Whoa.
I had like tears. Like what the hell was that? Because in my vision I could see my grandma who passed away many years ago, and she was an angel over me. Like okay, this is some crazy stuff, but it was real. And when I spoke about that to my parents, both of them start to cry too. So like, okay, well, I guess something is true here. So I written down on paper, Anthony, you will not like just buy a one-way ticket. You will not have to have a ticket to fly back, and it's exactly what happened. I have goosebumps telling you this because it's just I had manifested this reality. Like God was speaking through me and said, "Just go. This is your destiny." And here I am, 5 years later, with like married, with a daughter, with an apartment. I paid this apartment, with a business, learning that like I know Georgian, and yeah, I just everything was from super scratch. I had literally nothing when I came here. No money, no business, not knowing the language. So it's like it's an inspiring story, and I know it was a lot of struggle. But if people are on the fence of trying something new, something big, maybe they're bored in Canada or USA or whatever, they listen to us from which country. Oh man, I would like to go to Spain or to Portugal or whatever. Take take the like dive into this unknown. It can only help you become a better person. I
Yeah.
don't see any negative aspect of escaping your native country, escaping your native city if you're used to always be with the same people. Trust me, there's amazing people waiting for you on the other side of the world. And I'm a big believer in networking. I'm part of like this be a little plug, but I'm part of a group called New Money, and it's a group of 1,000 guys who are exactly like you and I. We're speaking about business, we're speaking about sales, marketing, and we just help each other grow so much. So you need to find people like this that you can connect with. And because of technology nowadays, it's easier than ever. You don't have to go through I don't know like online, just finding a random number or some MySpace or some old school technology, you can
Yeah,
just find groups that are either free or paid. But I recommend investing in your network, paying money to join groups that will give you access to higher quality people, because you know that they also like to invest in themselves, and they want to speak with people like you. So if people have this desire to go somewhere else, you need good friends in any country. And I don't know if you are a fan of Andrew Tate, but he's speaking about this also, like have connections, be on multiple grids. So you want to be a bit everywhere. If that's your calling, I'm not forcing anybody. Just from my experience, I enjoyed being in a different country. I think it just makes you a better person, more open-minded.
yeah.
If they have a different religion, for example, here it's Orthodox Christian, so I had to respect like different things. And actually, I became Orthodox here for family reason when I came here back in 2018. Um, but yeah, just challenge yourself, go somewhere, put yourself in harder situations, figure things out, and you will absolutely become a better man or a better woman, whoever is listening right now.
I love it. And so speaking from where you're living in, is it, how do you say it? It's Tbilisi?
Yeah, Tbilisi, it's the capital of Georgia. Yeah.
Tbilisi, gotcha. Yeah. Would you say, when I was looking it up, it's smack dab in the middle of Eastern Europe or Central Europe, right? And
It's actually middle of everything, bro. It's
yeah, 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 yeah.
under Eastern Europe and next to Middle East, a bit of Asia. Russia is up, Turkey is there. So it's like, yeah, it's a country who they've been through a lot of like invasion, because it was such a like important region for trading stuff. So they had to
Right.
fight, and they're very proud of their country, their culture. Don't try to force them to be Russian. They will hate you. So yeah, very nice people, but geographically it's beautiful. It's a beautiful weather, and there's a lot of things to do. You can just go anywhere. Countries are not so far, and it's affordable, a very affordable country too, because it's not as developed as Canada. So you can live here with a fraction of the price. Like if I give you an example for grocery, or for the same price, let me think. Like you can have 3 4 big grocery bags for not even $100, bro. Yeah, maybe like 80 $90 Canadian. It's
Whoa.
ridiculous. It's like 2 to 6 times less expensive than food in Canada. I can like confirm that 100%.
Oh
Yeah,
my God. Well, I'm gonna
yeah,
have to
yeah.
come over there and buy a bunch of protein
Bulk loads
powder.
here. Exactly. Come
Clothes
bulk
and
and then go
protein
back.
powder. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane. Oh my God. How's the like the taxes and all
The
that?
taxes. Okay, so now I'll be careful because I'm on a podcast, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
they are not checking so much the online business if you don't have Georgian clients.
Right, right.
So I'm not going to go into details, but I think it's a great country just to open a business. It's very simple to open bank accounts here. I think it's even now popular for foreign investors to come here, either open businesses or just invest in real estate. So, and anyway, taxes are less expensive than Canada, 100%. I think it's like maybe 15 to 25%, which is quite
Holy.
reasonable.
Wow.
So yeah, and if you're a business owner, there's always other things you can do versus being a normal employee. So that's like, I guess most people on your show will want to be entrepreneur eventually, because it gives you the freedom to go
Yeah,
where you want.
yeah.
So that's Georgia is definitely something to consider. And if anybody has questions about Georgia, moving here or just visiting, please reach out to me. Yeah, Anthony Rivest on Facebook. You can I can give my Telegram actually, because we're close to the end. So on Telegram, it's Wise Professional. So that's my handle. If people want to reach out to me, I'm very much on Telegram with my other groups, and or my email anthony.rivest Rivest at gmail.com is also my main email address, personal. I will answer to anybody has questions for a new life, or yeah, coaching, clarity, something they want to work on, or join an amazing organization, seeking new friends, new high quality people, business people. Reach out to me and I will help you and see what we can do together.
No, I would love that, and I really appreciate your time today, Anthony, and our listeners have as well. And one more thing I want to mention, I totally forget, is Telegram kind of like an international social media app, like,
Telegram is
or
like WhatsApp, but it's more
okay,
secure. It's safer.
gotcha.
It's more
Okay,
encrypted. Yeah.
probably right, encrypted. Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Right on. Well, appreciate your time today, Anthony, and really looking forward. I want to do potentially a part 2 episode
Oh
with you,
yeah, of course,
and
bro. It's love to.
and
100%.
we can dive into some deeper topics, and
Yeah. Let's
especially about how to make that decision to transition from one country to another. You've done that, based on
yeah.
your intuitive sense, and I'd love to talk more about that in the future episode.
I would love to, and also like how to find your bigger why. I know we had some
Yep.
questions prepared in
Yeah.
advance, and we could not go through them. But if we had like 60 to 90 minutes, like a longer
Yep.
format, I
Oh
would just
yeah.
drop the game, bro. I will drop the sauce. It will be super
Absolutely.
powerful. I promise you.
Yeah, absolutely. Really appreciate your time, Anthony, and I'll get this edited, and I want to publish it probably. I'm gonna say because we got choppy internet right now, so probably on
Yeah.
Monday. We'll do it
Awesome.
Monday, 8 a.m. Pacific. Yeah,
Amazing.
right
Amazing.
on. All right,
Okay,
buddy.
bro. Thank you
Really
so much,
appreciate your
Alex.
time, and
Have a
looking
good
forward
one.
to reconnecting soon for part
Talk
2.
to you soon. Bye
All
bye.
right, bye.
I hope you all enjoyed that special guest series episode brought to you by podcastguest.com and radioguest.com. If you'd like to reach out to me, get to know me, or my guests, you can do so at my blog. That's alexandermuir.com. That's ALEX, Amazon Mike, UIR.com. And then you go under my blog section, and it has all my recent podcast episodes and prior episodes with my guests. And if you'd like to reach out to me on another platform, I'm also on Instagram, Facebook. You can DM me on Facebook or on Instagram, and you can leave a short review if you enjoy the episodes. Leave 5 stars, rate, review, and comment on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And I appreciate you all. Thank you all for listening, and see y'all next time.